The NBA is known to be a star-driven league from players like MJ, Kobe, LeBron, and now Giannis. But the cap space and financial structure makes building a team much more rigid than getting all the best players. Every team besides the Knicks can find the right player, but the real issue is finding the right player at a reasonable price, again something that the Knicks can't seem to do.
The despair on the young Knicks fans' face, and perhaps Chris Porzingis can turn these fans around at some point.
With hoping that a player is willing to play for your team or trying to save a player from leaving your organization, NBA owners are willing to spend the big bucks to have or keep a player even if the price of the contract doesn't match the productivity of the player. This leads to fans booing the player and questioning the front office, thinking of what could have been if they had signed the right player at the right price. I am Kevin Albastri with Brain Dead Sports, and here's the top 10 most overpaid NBA players of 2020. Coming in at number 10, we have Allen Crabbe. Crabbe was traded on draft night to the Portland Trail Blazers after being drafted as the first pick of the second round of the 2013 NBA draft. He played 4 seasons for the Blazers, improving his points per game each year. After the 2016 season, Crabbe was a restricted free agent. On July 7, 2016, Crabbe received an offer from the Brooklyn Nets for $75 million over 4 years. He re-signed with the Blazers a week later. After the 2017 season, he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Andrew Nicholson to dump his high salary. In 2 seasons with the Nets, Crabbe shot 37% from the three, which was a huge drop-off from his 44% in his final season as a Blazer. Then the injury bug made its way to him as he missed most of the 2019 season after a knee procedure. To make room for 2 max contracts that ended up being for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the Nets cleared as much cap space and dealt Crabbe to the young Atlanta Hawks, who then traded him in January of 2020 to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves thought they can fix Crabbe because of prior player and coaches' relationships, but this did not seem to be the case as Crabbe has been officially waived by the Timberwolves a month later. At number 9, we have former second overall pick Evan Turner. After a decent 2-year stint with the Boston Celtics, the Portland Trail Blazers signed Turner to a $70 million deal over the next 4 years in the 2016 offseason. Turner would battle for the starting small forward spot with Mo Harkless but ended up losing out. In 3 years with the Blazers, Turner would start only 54 of the 217 total games he played. In his 3-year stint with the Blazers, he would never average more than 10 points per game, which is something you do not want to see as a $17 million per year player. In 2019, he was the first Blazer since Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler to record back-to-back triple-doubles. He was a very key component for the Blazers to make the conference finals in the 2019 playoffs as he guarded the opposition's best players and scored in the mid-post. He was dealt to the Atlanta Hawks for Kent Bazemore in the 2019 offseason and played 19 games for them. Now he is a member of the Timberwolves as he was traded to Minnesota on February 5th of 2020. At number 8, we have Paul Millsap and his insane 3-year $90 million contract. Before signing with the Nuggets, he was an All-Star every season from 2014 through 2017 with the Atlanta Hawks. He received a big contract from the Nuggets as the Hawks wanted to rebuild. He hasn't quite lived up to this contract, putting up mediocre numbers. As a Nugget, he has averaged less than 15 points a game each year across 3 seasons. When he signed the contract, the Nuggets were ridiculed for the signing because of Millsap's age already being 32 years old. Luckily for the Nuggets, Paul Millsap is in his last year of his contract, getting paid $30 million this year. At number 7, we have Harrison Barnes. Barnes was traded by the Dallas Mavericks in the middle of their game to the Sacramento Kings. After a half-season spent in Sacramento, the Kings opted to re-sign Barnes to a 4-year, $88 million extension this offseason. Even though Barnes fits well with the Kings, the former Golden State Warrior averaged pedestrian numbers at best. He averages 14 points per game while shooting 45% from the field. Averaging less than 15 points per game is something a team does not want after being paid $22 million each season across 4 years. Barnes has 3 years left on his contract. Hopefully he can play better and be more productive, but if he's going to average 14 points a game, then he will continue to be known as overpaid. At number 6, we have Nicholas Batum. Batum spent 7 years with the Portland Trail Blazers before being traded to the Charlotte Hornets for Noah Vonleh in 2016 offseason. He signed a 5-year, $120 million contract with the Hornets after the trade. He started his career in Charlotte off well, averaging 15 points per game, but still not well enough for a player getting paid $25 million a year. In his 5th season as a member of the Hornets, he is averaging 3 points a game. In March of 2020, Batum issued an apology to the fans for not living up to his big contract, but he still has a player option, which I assume he will accept because it is worth $27 million. Which means the 2021 season will be the last year of Nick Batum's contract. At number 5, we have Blake Griffin. Griffin signed the Supermax contract with the Clippers for $173 million for the next 5 seasons. The upcoming season, he was traded for Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley to the Pistons. In 2019, his first full season with the Pistons, Griffin averaged 24 points a game and was a member of the All-NBA third team. In that season, Griffin led the Detroit Pistons to a playoff berth, but the team was swept by the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. The next season would be a huge downgrade for Blake Griffin. He would miss the first 10 games after recovering from knee surgery over the summer, and on January 7th of 2020, Griffin decided to get a second knee surgery and terminate his 2020 campaign. Griffin has 2 more years on his contract and is expected to get around $37 million each year. At number 4, we got Terry Rozier. He received a 3-year, $58 million contract from the Charlotte Hornets, and I know it is early as Rozier just signed a contract last season, but Scary Terry's best season with the Celtics is when he averaged 11.9 points a game, and his average field goal percentage was never over 40% over those 4 years. Rozier was basically free agency swapped with Kemba Walker, and Charlotte lost that deal badly. He is averaging 18 points a game in Charlotte this season, but shooting only 42% from the field. But most importantly, Rozier is taking away playing time and shot opportunities from younger players like Malik Monk and Devontae Graham. He still has 2 more years left on his contract, but I don't believe that he will ever live up to his $20 million a year status, especially if the Charlotte Hornets continue to be bottom feeders of the East. At number 3, we have Chandler Parsons. After playing for the Mavericks for 2 seasons, the Memphis Grizzlies signed Parsons to a 4-year, $94 million deal. Parsons would average 7 points a game with the Grizzlies and at one point was offered by the team's GM to be sent back to the G League. Parsons' tenure with the Grizzlies was also battled with injuries as he only played 95 games of the 246 games that could have been played. Of those 95 games, Parsons started 45 of them. In the last year of his contract, he was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. He has only played 5 games for them, but was in a serious car accident with the driver being arrested for a DUI. He was later waived in February of 2020. At number 2, we have Mike Conley. After being one of the best Grizzlies of all time, the Memphis Grizzlies re-signed Mike Conley to a 5-year, $153 million deal. At the time, he was the highest paid NBA player in history, which left a lot of people scratching their head at the new deal. He would have been at number 1, but I feel that the person at number 1 has a contract that makes this contract seem like a steal. Conley was traded to the Utah Jazz in the 4th year of his deal. He is not playing up to his contract, which is $34 million a year, but if he was paid $15 million a season, you can make an argument that he's still being overpaid. He is averaging 13 points a game while shooting 40% from the field. He has a player option for next season which is worth $34.5 million a year, and I believe 100% he will exercise that option and be a Utah Jazz for next season as well, barring a trade. Before we tell you who number 1 is, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for all our videos. At number 1, we have John Wall. John Wall was drafted first overall by the Washington Wizards in 2010. I know what you are thinking. John Wall is an amazing player and a top 5 point guard when healthy. But the key word in that sentence is healthy. He has missed the entire 2020 season and played only 73 games in the 2 seasons prior. The best ability is availability. He signed a 4-year, $176 million deal with the Wizards in 2019. Wall has 3 more seasons left on his contract. He will make $41 million next season, $44 million after that, and the last year of his contract will net him $47 million. John Wall is the most overpaid NBA player to date. Thank you for watching a Brain Dead Sports video. Hope you subscribe as we will post more top 10 videos every Monday and Wednesday.